Over the last 8 years, our garden has grown from this single 400 square foot raised bed garden to another 1,000 square foot in-ground garden to another 5,000 square foot market garden area. And we've surrounded our gardens with fruit trees, grape, berries, and other perennial crops. And the number of chickens we had, which started at the number 6, has now gone up to, I think, 23 chickens. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I kind of lose track sometimes. But the chickens do a really good job of supplying us with a steady supply of eggs and enough fertilizer to add to our gardens year-round. Our goal this year is to become as self-sufficient as possible on our half-acre property to grow enough food to feed our family of 4 for an entire year. I've always wanted to do this, but never fully set out to do it until this year, focusing 100% on maximizing our land to grow more than ever and see what is possible to try and grow possibly a year's worth of food for our family. In order to manage so much more land and to keep myself from going crazy pulling weeds constantly, I'm doing my best to keep the soil covered at all times. The best way to do that is to simply have crops growing in the soil. We have already got these rows covered with potatoes behind me. And today we're going to be planting a lot more things into the ground. Now when you don't have things in the soil, the next best thing to do is to cover it with a tarp, which will keep the ground covered. It'll prevent weeds from sprouting, and any weeds that were beneath the tarp, the sun will create some heat, and beneath that tarp, the longer you keep it there, everything will die under. And when you're ready to plant, you can remove that tarp and then plant directly into it. And that's something that we're going to be doing today, to plant directly into this row these rows that have been covered by this tarp for a few weeks. We're going to be planting some pinto beans right into that soil. I'm also using my chickens to make my life a lot easier. You see, I'm standing on all this green beneath me. That's chickweed, mostly chickweed. Weeds, I didn't plant those. And I have the chickens going over the chickweed every day. You can see these rows behind me here where the chickens have been. They're basically, the chickweed is all gone. And I'm just finishing up this row here, moving them every morning, sometimes more than once a day because they eat this stuff pretty fast. And then once they finally get through this whole section, I'm gonna move a tarp and cover this and let it sit for a few weeks until I'm ready to plant another crop here. It's a great day to get things planted in the ground because it's overcast, it's kind of cool, a little bit chilly actually, but we don't have to worry about the sun scalding our plants that we are transplanting. Right now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this silage tarp behind me and prep these rows a little bit for pinto beans. I'm hoping I have enough to plant 3 rows behind me. Let's see, we can get that done real quick. I'm gonna use my seeder for that to make it move really fast. Just moved these tarps and found a couple of snakes under here. I don't know what kind of snakes these are, but I've seen these before. Made me jump. Gotta be careful. I don't see any rattles, so I think we're all right.
Plants?
No, they eat like insects and stuff. Now after pulling these tarps, the only thing I really have to do is come in and rake a lot of this dead stuff that's in here. A lot of it was weeds, grasses, and I have my paper pot transplanter. That's all paper from the paper plot chains. They just get pulled up real easy. I think I had kale, red Russian kale in these rows, so we'll rake all this stuff up and then we're gonna direct seed our beans. Okay, here's my earthway seeder. I have the bean plate in there, and here's my bag of pinto beans. It's what I got left from last year. I'm just gonna dump all these guys in here. See how far we can get with what we've got. Next thing we did is get some tomatoes started. The varieties I chose to plant are mostly Amish paste and San Marzano. So we're growing a lot of paste Roma tomatoes in order to save all of them for canning and sauces and salsas. I'm gonna plant these directly in the ground, plant them about 2 feet apart, and we'll probably end up doing a trellis system, a T-post staking system, and we'll weave in some twine around all the plants to hold them up, prevent them from falling into the ground. One more thing I'm trying to do this year is plant more flowers, keep pests away from the tomatoes. So I planted a couple extra marigolds. I'm gonna plant them along the front and along down the row. It has been a super busy planting day today, but feeling really good about it. Feeling like everything's ready to get in the ground. I feel a little push to get everything planted. So this bed right behind me here, got one more bed to fill up in this back plot. And this is sweet potatoes. These are all slips that we grew from our sweet potatoes that we saved from last year that we grew. You take the cuttings from the sweet potato and then root those cuttings, and then these cuttings will give us new sweet potato plants. So pretty neat how easy it is to grow more sweet potatoes from just one sweet potato. I'm gonna plant these in the ground, but first I'm gonna prep this soil. Sweet potatoes grow really deep into the ground, and the looser the soil is, the bigger the yield we're gonna get. So I'm gonna get my broad fork and loosen down the center of this row where I'm gonna be planting these sweet potatoes and kind of hill it up a little bit and loosen that subsoil so these can give us a nice big hearty yield. Now that I've broad forked, I'm just gonna, you can kind of see the crease I have down the center, and that's good. I want to make it a little bit taller. I'm gonna rake in a little bit from the sides of the row into the center. That's where I'm gonna be planting. I'm gonna do the same on the other side of the row. I'm going to plant these about 12 inches apart. In a day like today, it's just the perfect conditions to be planting crops like this. You really want to make sure that the soil temps are warm enough. They're probably not, to be honest with you, in my area. They should definitely be, I think it's well above 50 degrees, but I think the sweet potatoes are going to be just fine. And these are taking up space in our kitchen, so they need to get out of the house and get in the ground. Alright, that is super cool to see. We didn't make it all the way to the end. I ran out. I have maybe 10 feet more, but I have some more inside that I just pulled off more of sweet potatoes and are still rooting, so I'll wait to plant those. But you can just directly plant those cuttings, but I'm gonna wait. But that looks really nice. This row is interesting. This is actually a row of onions that I've interplanted them with this bolted spinach that I'm gonna be taking out now. It's getting too tall. I'm gonna just take out the spinach. Under the insect netting there is broccoli. So broccoli, onions, sweet potatoes, pinto beans, pinto beans, pinto beans, 5 rows of potatoes, and 1 row of tomatoes that really need to be watered. Now the sun, of course, is coming out after I did all this planting. Come on, sun. If you would like to set up a garden like this year, sign up for our email newsletter in the details of this video, because I am releasing my very first book at the end of this month. It's called The 400 Square Foot Garden. I'm really excited about it. I hate being salesy and trying to sell something, but I think this is actually something that will really help a lot of people. I put all of the knowledge that I've learned in the last 8 years of gardening in small space, square foot gardening into a really easy step-by-step guide that anybody could follow and recreate a garden in just 400 square feet and I really want to help people create their first gardens because gardening changed my life. I want to share that with as many people as possible. I'm self-publishing this book, so I have to be the one to go out and tell people about it or nobody's going to know it exists. Really proud of it, and I'm excited. So definitely check that out if you are into small space gardening yourself. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.